Welcome back, everyone, to another dicondissectional production hosted by Deathstroke9. Today we're going to be reviewing the full Hard Day's Night album by the Beatles. I recently listened to this album for the very first time, all the way through. It's the first Beatles album I've listened to. I knew one or two songs already off the album. One I knew, and the other one I had no idea I knew it till I heard it, and I was like, yeah, I've definitely heard this before. And I uploaded the full reaction to Patreon if you want to check it out. There's, you can become a patron and support the channel. But if not, I decided to make this video to kind of give an overview of my opinion on the album and what I gained as a teenager listening to a Beatles album, in 2020, right? And my opinion on whether I personally think it's a good album. Is it a great album? What's going on? So, yeah, if you're new to the channel, before I start, let me just say, if you're new to the channel, hello, my name is Daniel, aka Deathstroke9, and here we mostly react to music and some other things, but I want to also branch out into doing some other things, and this is an example of that, which this will be a album review. Now, A Hard Day's Night is the third studio album released by the Beatles, and it was released on the 10th of July, 1964. So, they made a film out of it. Now, I listened to this album, and I really enjoyed it. To be totally honest, the main thing, I've mentioned this before, me personally, I enjoy lyrical depth and musical complexity in music that I listen to. This album did have musical complexity. Maybe it's not to the extent that, Yes or some of the other prog or bands that we've been listening to have, but there's still definitely a lot of musical complexity. Now, for lyrical content was the main thing that I, as a person, felt that there was a little bit lacking in this album. However, a lot of people commented on my reaction to this album and gave me some more context to what this album was. Now, the Beatles made a few albums to lead up to, so it's their third album. Then, eventually, they transitioned into stuff like the White Album and Abbey Roads and a lot more lyrically heavy content, and I think that they were also more under the influence later on, which probably affected their work as well, as far as I know from what I've been told and from what I've done research on. Now, the actual album, as an album, one of my favorite songs was Can't Buy Me Love and Hard Day's Night, but almost every song on the album immediately was felt relatable. It felt like they're describing everyday situations and making a song out of it. They took a snapshot of life, a man running home or hurrying home to get to his wife. Just little things that they turned into a beautiful song. The album starts with a chord, like this very distinct sound that just starts everything into the title track of the song, Hard Day's Night, which was, it was interesting how they drew you in by kind of jolting you. They're like, hey, pay attention. Now, the rest of the album is all, very cohesive, which is another thing that makes that first note a little bit, it's very interesting how that first note just is kind of discordant and draws you in really quick. And it's a weird chord, too. I looked it up, and it looks as though some people don't even, people are debating what exactly that opening chord is. It's a strange chord. Now, the Beatles, I'm excited to be checking out more of their stuff. I know I've heard a few songs by them. Probably have heard more that I just don't know the names of. But I had not heard the majority of songs on this album. So I really appreciate the people who recommended it to me, because it was definitely interesting. So a lot of the songs on this album were kind of generic boy-girl songs, right? We had a lot of simple love songs. Every single song on here was poppy. A lot of it's still stuck in my head a week after listening to it. And it was very well done pop rock songs to me. Their vocal performance of all of the members of the band was incredible. Well, actually, wait a minute. Who sang on here? Let's see. All right, lead vocals. We had A Hard Day's Night was Lennon with McCartney. I Should Have Known Better was just Lennon. If I Fell was Lennon with McCartney. I'm Happy Just to Dance With You was Harrison. And I Love Her was McCartney. Tell Me Why was Lennon. Can't Buy Me Love was McCartney. Anytime at All was Lennon. I'll Cry Instead was Lennon. Things We Said Today was McCartney. When I Get Home was Lennon. You Can't Do That was Lennon. And I'll Be Back was Lennon. In the entire album, there was only like one song I didn't love. And I think the production value or quality on that one song, which one was it? Let's see. Might have been Tell Me Why, or I'll Cry Instead. Very interesting that there was only one song in this entire album. And you know me, I love lyrics, so it's interesting that I only didn't like one song, even though the entire album has a lot of seemingly repetitive ideas of a boy-girl relationship. Even though if you look closer at the lyrics, there are a lot of nuances, a lot of complexities in what it is that they're saying and the situations that they are describing to the audience. So yeah, the vocal performances were awesome. The music, with the exception of like that one song, was all very good production-wise. And yeah, Can't Buy Me Love has been stuck in my head for days now. So it was A Hard Day's Night, to be totally honest. Now I listened to the album again after listening to it the first time, or reacting to it, or whatever. And it held up. You know, like I didn't get bored. Once again, I was drawn in and I paid attention to it. So this album definitely holds up. There's a lot of quality in this entire album. And let me see if there's anything on Wikipedia that I might add to this. So yeah, A Hard Day's Night kind of gave up rock and roll cover songs of the band's previous albums for a predominantly pop sound. They were short. All the songs were very short. And according to Wikipedia, characterized by layered vocals, immediate choruses, and understated instrumentation. Yes, the instruments were kind of held back a little bit. There was a lot of different instruments as well, which was appreciated. And yeah, apparently this album had two different versions released, one in the US and one in the UK. I listened to the UK one, I believe. And the one in the US had songs that were specifically for the movie that was released. So anyway, I digress. This was a really solid album. I really enjoyed it, and people said it's a bit of a transition, or they start to transition as it goes on, and they grow a lot as a band. So I'm excited to keep on doing Beatles albums moving forward. Let me know what you think of this style of video. Let me know if there's anything that you think could be added to it, because this is my first time doing a album review. It was kind of spontaneous. I was like, you know what? This would be a good idea. Yeah, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch it and hear what I have to say about the album. Let me know what you think about this Beatles record, because it was really good. And anyway, I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love. Can't buy me love. Okay. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And let me know. I'm trying to figure out exactly what the order of my Beatles reactions will be going forward, because I think full albums will probably work very well. Some people told me Abbey Road's, like the end of Abbey Road's definitely like needs to be the all done together. So just some food for thought. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more reactions. Sorry I didn't upload yesterday, but we upload almost every single day. Deathstroke 9 out.